Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. The Young and the Restless. Summer blames Claire for Harrison's kidnapping. It doesn't look like the ice-cold tension between Summer and Claire will thaw anytime soon. Family feuding is like a tradition on The Young and the Restless, and it looks like this tradition carries on in the next generation of Genoa City residents as Summer, Allison Lanier, and Claire Haley Aaron don't appear to be on track to be loving cousins. From Summer's perspective, she can't shake the notion that her newly established cousin once helped kidnap Nick, Joshua Morrow, Victoria, Amelia Heinel, Victor, Eric Braden, and Nikki, Melody Thomas Scott, and furthermore, attempted to work with Jordan, Colleen Zank in trying to kill them. Despite her grandparents' and aunt's willingness to welcome Claire in the Newman fold, forgiving Claire for her past deeds as she was raised by a deranged woman for decades, Summer has so far proved unwilling to just let bygones be bygones. In The Young and the Restless episode airing on April 9, Victor, Nikki, Victoria, Claire, and Cole, J. Eddie Peck, decide to spend a family night together at the Neil Winters Jazz Club. Upon arriving, they bump into Summer and Chance, Connor Floyd, who are on a date. Naturally, Victor and Nikki invite the couple to join them, and the pair accepts the invitation. However, it becomes clear Summer doesn't want to spend a night around Claire, and Victor, sensing the tension, takes Summer aside to speak with her privately. After confirming with Victor that she just doesn't trust Claire, the mustache urges Summer to give her new cousin a chance, once again noting his own forgiveness and fondness for her. Summer looks doubtful that she'll be able to reach that same headspace. Even as the entire family sits down to talk, Claire attempts to make small talk with Summer about Harrison, Kellen Enriquez, and Summer is very sparing with keeping up her side of the conversation. With all that being said, we predicted a few weeks ago the possibility that Jordan's next plan of attack against the Newmans would involve kidnapping Harrison as a way to get to Claire. With rumors swirling that the Abbotts and Newmans would soon be brought together, his kidnapping becomes a real possibility as he's Kyle's, Michael Mueller, son and Summer's stepson. Plus, Claire has been getting close to Harrison, and since Jordan has been stalking Claire, and the deranged woman likely knows that Jordan may use the child to get revenge on her great niece, or at the very least, lure Claire away from the Newmans. There's also the possibility that Claire finds herself hanging with Harrison in some capacity, and Jordan kidnaps them both. That's a scenario that would also cause quite the stir in Genoa City. In both scenarios, we imagine Summer angrily blaming Claire for the disappearance of a young child. If Harrison is kidnapped all alone, Summer may blame Claire for bringing Jordan into their lives. She may even wonder if Jordan kidnapped Harrison for Claire, in an effort for Claire to get to raise Harrison all by herself. Particularly in the second scenario, if Claire and Harrison both come up missing, Summer may be quick to assume Claire ran off with the child. Summer may even allege that Claire is just as cruel and villainous as Jordan. This could snowball into a race for the Abbotts to not only find Harrison, but a race for Victoria to prove that her daughter has been kidnapped by Jordan and is as much a victim as Harrison. We can't wait to see what actually happens next, as Jordan's reign of terror seems like it will soon come to an end, or temporarily end considering we are talking about the soaps. Summer's heart pounded erratically as she stepped into the dimly lit room, the weight of her emotions dragging her down like chains. She couldn't shake the feeling of dread that clung to her like a suffocating shroud. The atmosphere was tense, filled with a mixture of anger and fear, as everyone in the room waited with bated breath for answers. The air crackled with tension as Summer's gaze fell upon Claire, her best friend turned foe in this harrowing ordeal. Claire stood frozen, her eyes wide with disbelief and guilt, as if she couldn't comprehend the accusation being hurled at her. But Summer didn't care about Claire's shock or her innocence. All she cared about was finding her nephew Harrison and bringing him back safely. "Summer, please," Claire began, her voice trembling with emotion. "I swear I had nothing to do with Harrison's kidnapping. You have to believe me." Summer's lips curled into a bitter sneer as she took a step closer to Claire, her fists clenched at her sides. "Don't you dare try to deny it, Claire. You were the last person seen near Harrison before he disappeared. How can you expect us to believe you had nothing to do?" Summer's eyes as memories of Harrison flashed through her mind, his infectious laughter, his tiny hands reaching out to her, the way his eyes sparkled with mischief. She couldn't bear the thought of him being in danger, and she couldn't forgive Claire for whatever part she played in his abduction. Claire shook her head frantically, her voice desperate as she pleaded her innocence. "I would never hurt Harrison, you know that. He's like family to me too." But Summer wasn't buying it. Not when the evidence seemed to point directly at Claire. She remembered the way Claire had been acting strangely in the days leading up to Harrison's disappearance. The furtive phone calls, the whispered conversations that stopped whenever she entered the room. It was all too suspicious to ignore. "You can't expect us to just take your word for it," Summer spat, her voice dripping with venom. "Until Harrison is found, you're guilty in my eyes." The room fell into a heavy silence, the tension so thick it was suffocating. Claire looked around at the faces of her friends and family, searching desperately for someone to believe her. But all she found was doubt and suspicion staring back at her. Suddenly, the sound of a phone ringing shattered the silence, causing everyone to jump in surprise. Summer's heart leaped into her throat as she recognized the ringtone. It was Harrison's. Without hesitation, she lunged for the phone, her hands trembling as she answered the call. "Hello," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. There was a moment of static on the other end of the line before a voice spoke, low and distorted. "If you ever want to see your nephew again, you'll do exactly as I say." Summer's blood ran cold as she listened to the voice on the other end, her mind racing with fear and desperation. She glanced around the room, her eyes meeting Claire's for a fleeting moment before she turned away, unable to bear the accusing gaze any longer. "We have to do whatever it takes to bring Harrison home," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "Even if it means trusting Claire." The room erupted into chaos as everyone scrambled to come up with a plan to save Harrison. But amidst the chaos, one thing was clear: Summer's unwavering determination to bring her nephew back home, no matter the cost. As the hours turned into days, the search for Harrison intensified, each passing moment filled with agonizing uncertainty. But through it all, Summer refused to give up hope. She clung to the belief that they would find Harrison and bring him back safely, no matter what obstacles stood in their way. And in the end, it was that unwavering determination that led them to Harrison's location, a remote cabin deep in the woods, far from prying eyes. As they burst through the door, their hearts pounding with adrenaline, they found Harrison huddled in a corner, frightened but unharmed. Tears of relief streamed down Summer's face as she scooped Harrison into her arms, holding him tightly against her chest. In that moment, nothing else mattered, not the accusations, not the doubts, not even the fear that still lingered in the air. Because in the end, love had triumphed over fear, and Harrison was finally home where he belonged. And as Summer looked around at the faces of her friends and family, she knew that no matter what challenges they faced in the future, they would always stand together, united in their love for one another. Title: The Shadows of Suspicion, Summer's Confrontation with Claire. In the vibrant tapestry of Genoa City's drama, there exists a tale woven with threads of deceit, betrayal, and the undying thirst for revenge. At the heart of this narrative lies Summer Newman, a woman torn between love and vengeance, her world shaken to its core by the kidnapping of Harrison, the innocent child she'd come to adore as her own. However, amidst the chaos and turmoil, a sinister shadow lurks, casting doubts upon the very fabric of trust she once held dear. It all began with a fleeting moment of vulnerability, a lapse in judgment that would haunt Summer for eternity. The arrival of Claire, a mysterious figure shrouded in enigma, had ignited a spark of suspicion within her soul. Yet, blinded by love and the promise of a newfound family, Summer had embraced Claire with open arms, oblivious to the treacherous game she was about to be ensnared in. As the days turned into weeks, and the bond between Claire and the Newman family deepened, whispers of doubt began to surface. Summer couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Claire than met the eye, a nagging sensation that gnawed at her subconscious like a relentless beast. And then, the unthinkable occurred. Harrison, the precious child she had sworn to protect, vanished into thin air, leaving behind a trail of anguish and despair.